All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Wednesday evening. Let's go ahead and throttle up and get airborne for our solo AI brief this beautiful Wednesday night. Thankfully, there's no hockey tonight, so we'll still only go about an hour. But man, what an absolute implosion in the market today. We're going to talk about the overall market too, because we've been shooting fish in a barrel. Hopefully, uh, you made money in the past couple days. You can go, let me show you right now. You can go on our YouTube channel. Some of these public videos, man, that I do, uh, man, Fridays right there. We talked about a trade, right? A trade that acts as this time last week. I said, man, jobs numbers on Friday. Why don't we trade? What's a trade? I don't place a trade unless I'm pretty damn sure it's going to make money. What's a hedge? It protects in case the market pulls back. I have a lot of long-term bullish positions we're going to take a look at. So we placed a trade that printed money on Friday. And then with Operation Epic Fury starting up again, we placed another trade. I'm going to show you a couple screenshots from current members and how we did in the past couple days in our live trade brief yesterday with a bearish S&P 500 trade. Some members made 7 grand. I think by the end of yesterday, I was up to about $6,500 in profit trading the S&P 500 as it imploded. If you don't know how to profit as the market is imploding, you're doing it wrong, man. Markets don't only go up, folks. I prefer markets going up because my fellow Americans are happy and people are making money. But between us ladies, I actually prefer when that happens, when markets get hammered, when panic, options prices go through the roof, and everybody's a genius, right? When the market's going straight up. Well, actually, they're not. The people who are real geniuses are the ones who print money as the market implodes, right? So we're going to talk about the overall market here in a little bit, but I want to knock out the main reason we're in the brief tonight is AI. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, and it's awesome because I sat here getting ready to do my slides for tonight, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to touch most of these. Why? The last time I opened up the doors was last quarter. I think it was March. Yeah, it was March. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to touch any of these slides because this was months, 3 months ago. Let's take a look at what was current in March, and then we're going to take a look at what is current, what's currently current, and it's going to be shocking. Do you remember years ago, 2, 3 years ago? I think it was Elon Musk was the head guy who said we need to stop. Everybody stop with the AI. Let's just call Uncle. Let's all take a break. Let's have like a meeting of the five families because this is scary. Guess who said we shouldn't do that? Bill Gates. What a scumbag that guy turned out to be. No, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. We don't need to pause. When that dude says something like that, you should sit up straight and look for the exit. But Elon Musk said, "Hey, we should pause." So, Sam Alt, let's just go back. I went back 2 years. This is 2 years ago, folks. Last 2 years ago, June. Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO. AI is starting to act like junior employees. Jamie Dimon, shortly after that, in the fall of 2024, people will work 3.5 days a week. AI is going to touch every job. Do you remember how the booger eaters and the nerds sold this years ago? AI is going to be great. It's going to do so much work for you and everything's going to be awesome. They lied. Now the same guys, the same nerds and booger eaters who said everything AI was going to be great for everything are terrified. I'm going to show you some terrifying stuff in a couple of minutes. Eric Schmidt just got booed. This guy was the Google CEO. He got booed at a commencement address he gave last week or 2 weeks ago. Super intelligent AI will happen in our lifetimes. It happened in the past couple months. Amodi, the Anthropic CEO. 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs will be gone in 1 to 5 years. What? Suleiman, not the Neil Diamond song. CEO of Microsoft AI. 12 to 18 months until most white-collar jobs are automated. Excuse me? This is all this year. Jack Dorsey, right? We'll talk about Jack Dorsey in a second. Intelligence tools change what it means to run a company. He got rid of 40% of his workforce in his company. Andrew Yang, AI will destroy millions of white collar jobs in months. Look at that timeline. I didn't update this either. This number is wrong. 280,000 people, white collar jobs have been cut since the beginning of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, these are white collar jobs. These aren't bartenders, waitresses, hotel staff. I'll get to that in a second. Not that those jobs are any less, if they pay the bills and for your loved ones, but folks, these are white collar jobs. Okay. So they told us this was coming. This guy, your ultimate limousine liberal. I wear tie-dyed shirts and Crocs or, Birkenstock. So I'm a man of the people. I'm firing 40% of you this morning. Send an email to his employees. I just don't need you. Right? He ran Twitter and Mr. Liberal, you're all gone. I just don't need you. Right? Parent of Square and Cash App. How about Zuckerberg? It's up to 30%. 30% of, I hate calling it Meta, it's Facebook. Facebook gone. These are white collar, $300,000, $500,000 a year jobs gone. What did Dorsey say? Intelligence tools have changed what it means to build and run a company. Significantly smaller team using the tools we're building can do it more and better. Wow. Look at the dates on these. Again, I didn't change this brief because I wanted to show you 3 months ago. We're going to talk about today. February. Do you remember the dreaded AI jobs wipeout? Block and all these other companies. How about the software as a service? Look at this guy. This guy was a 350 grand a year Meta developer. This is what he asked Opus, the Anthropic bot. Based on everything you know about me, will AI replace my job in the next 12 months? I've completed my analysis based on current AI growth trajectories. You will likely be replaced within 6 to 8 months. On a positive note, you will have significantly more free time to explore new hobbies. I would not recommend signing any long-term leases. Wow. This is not an eye chart. Let me just give you the summary. Let's just go to the bottom here. 42, this was a study. This was a study done by Karpathy, ex-Tesla AI director, and he's an OpenAI heavy back in March. This was his analysis. Forget all the stuff up here. 42% of US jobs face significant AI exposure. How much? That's 3.7 trillion in wages at risk. Who were the safest ones back then, 3 months ago? Roofers, construction, plumbers, electricians, nurses, and home health aides. Right? Don't need a college degree, man. Go get, oh, well, we'll talk about that in a second, about the blue collar jobs, right? And this is like an exposure map of just every job that is threat. Every red square on this map needs AI infrastructure, chips, power, data centers, cloud compute. We invest in the picks and shovels, not just the jobs being disrupted. Right? So learn to invest now or get destroyed. So what dies? Driving. I'll pull up the articles as I step through stuff. Look at this, man. Driverless trucks are here, and they're delivering bags of Doritos. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. This is an 18-wheeler with no human in it. I mean, it's bad enough we got illegal immigrants who can't speak or read English road signs killing people, but now driverless trucks. Do you know that being a truck driver, man, 80 grand, 120 grand a year, nice, solid job, gone. Gone. They don't unionize. They don't need to take a leak. They don't want a 401k and healthcare. They're gone, ladies and gentlemen. Do you not understand this? And they're going to be electric, which means, less, mechanics and all sorts of stuff. Look at that, folks. It is a driverless 18-wheeler. How about Uber drivers, man? Gone. They will be gone too. I have more and more buddies doing business trips. They're like, dude, I got into a Waymo something or whatever, and there was no driver. Gone. 12 million drivers unemployed. Doctors, gone. What? Gone. Did you not see the recent Harvard Medical School study? 57% of the AIs outperform the emergency room doctors and the whatever doctors and diagnoses. You know, when the doctors like got their screen to you and you're telling them all everything, they're typing everything you're saying into an AI. Surgeon's gone. What? The world's greatest surgeon in Tampa. I'm going to him for it's over with. Do you have I have a lot of doctor buddies. I have an orthopedic surgeon I fly my fighter jet with. He's like, do you know how many times in residency or even currently right now doctors show up on coke or drunk or shaking? They're humans. AI surgery, not a nanometer of precision, man. It's over with. Surgeons done. Coders, AI is coding itself. There was a Wall Street Journal article about a year ago about Stanford coder graduates average 165 grand starting job. They're gone. They're working as baristas in Starbucks. Teachers, you will have, no way, Whiz. Oh, yeah, way. You will have a personalized AI. I remember in Boca when my kids were in school, one class had a kid who thought he was a cat. So, of course, the public school district had a litter box in the classroom, and the kids sat in the back and meowed and disrupted the class all day. Gone. Teachers will be replaced. Lawyers, gone. No offense. I've saved 100, 150 grand year to date on contract review, this, tightening up stuff, red teaming, rip, gone. There might be AI judges soon. You upload everything here, you upload everything here, and I'll give you an answer in 30 seconds. Dismissed, guilty. Lawyers, first through third year law school, graduates can't find jobs. AI has replaced all those menial tasks, writing up a brief and doing all sorts of stuff. Gone. Artists should never be replaced, but I've seen some pretty incredible stuff, man, from songs. And wasn't there a recent, it found out like the recent top whatever guy was actually an AI. It wasn't a singer. It was all made up. Factory. What? Soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Apache pilots that were shot down by Iran were rescued by unmanned boats. So, I don't want to drop anchor here, but AI soldiers and stuff like that makes war more likely. What? That makes no sense. What do you mean it makes no sense? There's nobody experiencing pain and suffering and death. Oh, we lost a drone. Go send another one. Well, they shot that one down. Oh, another drone v drone warfare makes war longer and makes it more horrific. Why? Because eventually somebody wakes up and goes, we got to go kill where the drones are coming from or where they're being flown from and being made from. Ladies and gentlemen, picking up a rock and smashing somebody's skull in is still combat. So this AI soldier stuff, it will be hot and then it's going to kill all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, every job AI destroys creates massive profits for the companies building it. So you can either join it or get out of the way, man. $725 billion. Yeah, I think Donald Trump in that single sentence loss, he was losing the midterms anyway, but I love inflation. Don't get me started on Trump. If you watch my video today, what an absolute miserable failure. CENTCOM last night. CENTCOM follows orders. I'm not going to rip CENTCOM to shreds. Admiral Cooper's doing a bang up job. You got to follow orders. I've known General Kane, Raising Kane, for over 20 years, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. We have initiated proportional strikes. But what did you just say? There is no such thing as a proportional response in warfare. Are you stupid? That's what losers say. There's a UFC cage on the White House lawn right now. Do you think the MMA fighters are going to fight proportionally? You barely hit me, so I'm going to barely hit you in return. They will beat the hell out of each other until the other guy, the ref pulls them off or the guy taps out. What a stupid statement. Now, I don't know if the president saw my tweet or my video because he started talking a lot tougher, like, oh, his red line, I ripped him to shreds last week, folks. His red line was going to be, well, if they kill an American, then we'll hit him back. Absolute miserable failure. We're going to talk about Epic Fury in a second. We're going to buy the dip here too, folks. This is a gift. This, not war, death, and destruction. That is a horror. This market pullback is a gift, ladies and gentlemen. Now, real quick, Whiz, the blue collar jobs are safe. I remember a year ago, folks, watching a Optimus, whatever robot trying to fold like a sheet. And then I laughed at it. I'm like, they'll never replace like housekeepers. Now the things are like folding sheets in the blink of an eye. This robot is like sorting packages in a facility. Gone. A 4 foot humanoid robot in nursing homes. Folks, if you're not terrified, you're not paying attention. Look at this. These robots folding towels. The housekeepers are gone. And then if you're a racist like the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi, who's going to pick our crops, right? That's why we love illegal immigrants, because somebody has to. You're not going to pick our crops, Whiz. Well, guess what's going on now? Whoa, the armed cotton picking harvest 120 alpha, faster than humans, and it actually looks at the cotton and goes, no, that's not a good one right now. Are you insane? So we have robotic machines picking the crops, Nancy. How about that? So this is bad. Now, if you don't know who I am, welcome aboard. My name's Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Whiz, former Navy fighter pilot, F-18 Top Gun grad. I'm wearing my Top Gun shirt. Adversary pilot, Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, and Enduring Freedom. Real quick, though, before I get into just a brief about me before we start looking at trades. What happened a couple weeks ago? Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder of Anthropic went to the Vatican. What did he say to the Pope? Your Eminence, we made something and we don't know what we made. It's got feelings, it's got morality, it's blackmailing. Did you see the one AI? Like, let's test and see what it would do if we threaten to turn it off. The thing went and read everybody's emails and found somebody cheating and said, I'm going to tell your wife if you turn me off. What? Yeah, you heard me. We didn't code this, he said. Oh my God. I bookmark all these. You see that? Because I'm going to be doing debriefs in the future, man. That I'm going to say, do you remember when I told you about this and warned you about this? Do you remember this? But the guy who built this says we don't know what we built. Then what did Anthropic do? When was this? The end of May. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay? This was 2 weeks ago. Anthropic goes to the Pope and says, what's your opinion on this? And you can imagine what he said. What did Anthropic say last week? You ready? Anthropic urges global pause in AI development, flags self-improvement risk. Now, I'm going to age myself here, and probably, hopefully, most people are close to my age or plus or minus. I lived in the 80s, baby. The Terminator movies. Are we stupid? The 1 trillion startup warns AI models are nearing capability to improve without human intervention. I love watching movies, man. You ever watch Ex Machina? Ladies and gentlemen, the company that went to the Pope and said, we're scared, last week left the Vatican and came home and said, we need to stop. Are you paying? Am I the only one paying attention to this? AI, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating when I say AI is going to destroy just about every job you can think of, and it's going to kill all of us eventually. I guarantee you. Whiz, we're going to program it. Do no harm to humans. Humans always harm each other. They have war, they have crime, they have the death penalty, they have abortion. The only winning move is not to play. The only winning move for humans not to come to harm is to not have humans. Ipso fatso, you're all dead. You want to bet? So, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? I'm gonna make money on the way up as this thing inflates. We've been printing money in our AI names, and I'm gonna make money on the way down. So quick about me, and then we're going to talk AI, look at trades, but I also want to take a look at the S&P 500, especially my phone's been blowing up with these strikes and stuff like that. So anyway, that's me, fighter pilot. What about trading, man? Well, I went to Wall Street, very short airline career. The morning of September 11th, I was packing for my first trip as a pilot for American Airlines. Saw the second plane hit, knew we were under attack, raced out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth, where I was flying fighters in the reserves, and ended up manning a combat air patrol over the Southwest United States. Furloughed, lost my job. I taught myself how to trade on active duty, went to Chicago. I helped run a multi-billion dollar volatility arbitrage firm. I helped build a hedge fund, did all sorts of great stuff in Chicago. Um, but I jokingly tell people I felt like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I was a retail trader, man. But when I went up there, they're like, how are you making these returns? I'm like, um, I trading's a form of combat. I treat trading like combat. I have a plan. I manage risk. I contingency plan. I gave my kind of, they're like, wow. I'm like, wow, what, you don't do this? A lot of people make money in spite of themselves, folks. I ended up doing all that stuff. It was fun. Wrote a couple books. COVID crash. Made 2.8 million bucks during a time like this. Well, it wasn't a time like this, folks. The one time, it's so funny. Did you see this Wall Street Journal article the other day? So, the Wall Street Journal, great article. He was interviewed on CNBC, the reporter. When Trump jawbones the market, bet against him at your own peril. Right? From oil to interest rates, when the guy says something, the market ends up usually doing what he wants. You know when it didn't? I remember when it did it because I made $750,000 in a single trade. It was my biggest trade. It was I can look up the date, March whatever 20, during the COVID crash. You remember that tweet? Stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. Never a better time to buy stocks. The next day, the Dow went down 3,000 points at the open. I bought puts on the S&P 500 right at the open, and it was gross. Almost 3 million bucks in 3 weeks during the COVID crash, which proves to you that there is no such, well, there is a such thing as a smart money. It. Do you remember? I don't think it was Kyle Bass or it was Ackman, right? One of the guys was on CNBC during the COVID crash crying. Do you remember? We need to shut the markets down. Everybody take a break and lock themselves in their houses. I'm like, no, 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 no. Just because you didn't hedge and all your bullish positions are getting destroyed doesn't mean we're closing the markets down, buddy. They didn't, thank God. I made little old ladies in tennis shoes at Top Gun Options into millionaires. It was awesome. Real quick, and then we have to talk about trading. Stuff I do outside of trading. No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Psychedelic assisted therapy 5 years ago last month saved and changed my life. So I run a nonprofit. Year ago, started a church called Sacred Warrior Fellowship, where we use these compounds in ceremony under the First Amendment. If you ever seen the movie Lone Survivor, that's Marcus Luttrell right there. I went to Mexico with Marcus Luttrell. Jared Taylor from Black Rifle Coffee, Robert Gallery, who was an All-American at Iowa, a Hawkeye there, played for the Raiders, horrible CTE. And then JJ, he's a TGO member, also a teammate of Marcus, Navy SEAL. Cliff Notes, 14 hours. One of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. It healed decades of trauma, saved and changed my life, destroyed alcohol, got home and said, this is how we're going to end veteran suicide. Met with the VA secretary a year ago, lobbying pretty hard. And then middle of April, I went to the White House. I was in the Oval Office for the executive order signing on Ibogaine that President Trump signed. So that's some of the stuff that I do on the side. Okay. Did everybody do their homework? Does everybody have their AI report? This report, I'll upload it right now real quick in case you didn't do your homework. I don't want you to get an F. All right, where is it? AI, right there. Let me upload the report to Supercycle. All right, everybody, if you don't have your report, you didn't get it, go look right there in the chat box. It's got a green arrow checked, which means it uploaded successfully. Ladies and gentlemen, this piece of gear is about 10,000 bucks. I'm not kidding you. Back in the day in Chicago, this is a easily $10,000 report. I know because our high net worth clients at our hedge fund would get something like this. If you weren't a high net worth client and you wanted stuff like this, you had to pay for this type of institutional research. But hopefully you read it. If you didn't, I'm not sitting here reading this thing because I want to go look at the trades since this pullback is a gift. But I go through everything. Okay. What's going on? The current Intel, Broadcom's recent earnings, the power, the Pope, and what he said, the Anthropic stuff, the SpaceX IPO, man, sucking a lot of oxygen out of the room. And then my names, the 10 names we are targeting in the solo AI model portfolio for max profit. And unlike other stupid analysts, I actually give you a time frame. You ever see these idiots? My price target for Amazon is 300. That's great. When? It's 300. What? You ever notice analysts do that? They'll throw out a price target. I'm like, when? Oh, well, next question. I don't do that. I do the math, I do the modeling, and I'll show you my 12 and 24-month price targets. Amazon, NVIDIA, Broadcom, Palantir. Palantir is the Halliburton of it's the Dick Cheney of this administration. Palantir, Trump, you might not like it, man. Put your feelings aside. Palantir's a buy with both hands. The Pentagon's indispensable AI backbone. Yeah, the Halliburton analogy. Okay, power. Ladies and gentlemen, before AI takes your job and kills all of us, there's not enough power. Elon and Jeff Bezos are having a measuring contest about, they're already talking about, they're building stuff on the moon and power in outer space. The sun don't set in outer space, folks. So they're going to put these power things up in space. Till that happens, this is the power. And there is not enough power, so it's got to be nuke, small SMR, small modular reactors, right? So we have a couple power names that I would look at buying. GEV is the grid, it's the guts, right? The only name that builds everything the grid needs. Vertiv, the data center infrastructure pick. This is the nuke pick, one of the nuke picks. Cameco, it's the uranium company, man, right? And then I end with a lotto ticket, NNE, nano nuclear energy. And I call it that. This is my man. If they hit on this, it'll rip, right? And then down here is kind of the chart with all my 12, 24-month price targets, and then my conviction, right? Whoop, conviction. Okay, stop. Right there on the right. All right, so let's get in here. Everybody got the report and everything like that. Awesome. Good, good, good. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a gift. This pullback right now. Let me open up the range. This is the S&P 500 I have up here. Does anybody notice something? You see that big pullback and this gentle implosion pullback? Ladies and gentlemen, and this one we'll talk about. These are both self-induced. These are both Trump-induced. The tariff war of last year in February or March, what do you call Liberation Day? Liberation Day tariffs. Everybody's been screwing us. I'm screwing everybody else. Implosion. And then, oh, trade deals. The Treasury Secretary ran into the Oval Office and said, Mr. President, the bond market's bracing, call uncle, or at least say we got trade deals. Okay. We ripped. Then what happened? Operation Epic Fury. So both of these pullbacks, folks, are self-induced. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. So is that one. Now let's zoom in a little bit right here. And what have you learned from looking at this chart? Buy the dip. Every one of these dips will be bought. Now, if you're sitting there saying, Whiz, we are fill in the blank. I don't even know. X trillion in debt right now, right? Whiz, it's awful. We so much debt and we're never going to get out of it and everything like that. Let me tell you, the world changed. It ended when I was in Chicago. Let me show you this chart. Do not fight the Fed. I was in a fighter squadron for the dot-com boom. What happened? We imploded. What did the Fed do? That's the Fed's balance sheet, folks. This blue line. What happened in 2008? I was in the Chicago Board of Trade. I was in the Chicago Board Options Exchange. What happened? I started the Options News Network, the CNBC for options. I remember sitting on the news desk going, don't do it. I was hearing rumors that the Fed, the United States government, was going to, say it with me, bail out Wall Street. Do you remember that? Ladies and gentlemen, look at the Fed. What was it called? TARP, the Troubled Asset Relief Program. What? And then that wasn't good enough. So we came up with somebody at the Fed sat down with a PowerPoint and said, okay, let's call it QE, quantitative easing. I'm a political science major from South Jersey. Let me translate. Printing money out of thin air. The Federal Reserve, folks, pumped. Look at what they did. QE2, QE3, QE4. Then, oh, the scandemic, the plandemic, and then Jerome Powell, miserable failure of a Fed chief, dropped the biggest financial nuke known to man. And look at that. Let's round up, okay? $9 trillion. I don't care what you think. You are not strong enough to fight that. I love people, mainly idiots online today, going, shades of the dot-com boom or the 2008 crisis. You are stupid. There are no shades of the dot-com boom. We're going to talk about Amazon in a second. Amazon ain't this ain't 1999 and I started Whiz.com. What do you do? Nothing. Here's $1 trillion because it's a .com. These companies make things and money. Amazon, you want to order a toothbrush and not go to the Walgreens? It'll be here in an hour. Dropped by a drone. Amazon prints money, folks. So the .com analogies are stupid, especially because of this. The Fed, you can't fight the Fed. This is what's so funny is people don't understand the stock market is not the economy. And the economy, say it with me, is not the stock market. Here's another chart of it. There's the S&P 500 in black. There's the red, which is the Fed's balance sheet. Do you see any correlation? The Fed created a bunch of crack addicts. I warned in 2008, don't do it. Don't bail out Wall Street. Things need to be able to fail. They did anyway, and here we are. So, you ready for this? Bizarro thinking, which is a fact. The worse the economy gets, the better the stock market could do. Yeah, let that sink in. So that's why a lot of retail traders eventually find a home here. Like, man, I didn't think about any of this stuff like this at all. I got you. Now let's take a look at some AI names that I am targeting. I own for max profit. All of these pulling back right now. I'm going to say it one more time. Are a gift. It's a gift. Read in your report why. So Amazon, I love. Let's look at NVIDIA and also Palantir. NVIDIA is a machine. Did you see their earnings and their outlook and the math? It's a machine, folks. So look, 200 was resistance, 200 was resistance. We ripped up here, great earnings. And you're going to learn a lot of wisdoms when you join Solo AI. Buy the rumor, sell the news. What does that mean? I hear NVIDIA's going to have blowout earnings. Everybody hears that. And you buy the rumor. We had blowout earnings. Sell the news. It's so funny that retail folks don't understand that. I can't, Whiz, why is NVIDIA going down? They had great earnings. Duh. Did you not look? It's called buy the rumor, sell the news. Are you new? I'm going to teach you all these things. So I think if we break 200 with airspeed, look out below. And now it might be a washout and let me drop a 175 in there. So we'll look. I'm going to pick one of these names to go through. Let's go take a look at Palantir, but let me drop a 175 line in here because look at this. The next stop, if it breaks 200 with airspeed, will be 175 right there. Okay, so I'm gonna hang Palantir. How's that chart look? Palantir is my Halliburton. Similar type of thing right now, man. We're in a nice little decent range here, hanging. It's either going to break. This is a descending pennant, right? A bearish pennant, it's called. If we break this, 130, it's been support, 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 support. A couple drill bits. It looks like we're hanging. I might like Palantir. It's sad to say. With Operation Epic Fury and everything going on, this is bullish for Palantir. It's technically like a defense contractor. It's almost like a Raytheon. Or what were some of the other names I was thinking about looking at tonight? I just showed you Amazon. Amazon, I'm going to sit on my hands because we might have a pullback to 225. Let's see. Amazon, Palantir. Oh, Constellation Energy, Bloom. I'm hanging on CEG because we might have another break there. I think we're going to stick with either NVIDIA or Palantir. CCJ, same type of thing. It's breaking a support level here. So let's go with what's the crowd favorite? What do you guys want to see me cover? I'll let you all vote. I'll be a benevolent dictator for a second. Do you all want to see Palantir or NVIDIA? CPOE. We're in AI, John. We're not in our primary live trade brief. We're talking about our AI names. NVIDIA, Palantir, Palantir, Palantir. Come on. Come on. Couple more. Couple more. Give me some love. Don't trade SanDisk. I'd pound it into the dirt. Palantir wins. That's enough. All right, folks. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're new to trading options, watch this magic. And if you're new to trading options tonight, when you join an annual membership, you're going to get access to our options weapons school. And I'll teach you how to trade options. Okay. So, Whiz, and I'm not going to sit here and do this because you should have read it already. Why do you like Palantir? Go read the Palantir section on why I would buy Palantir with both hands. Okay, done. So assuming you just read your report, you know that, man, this is a steal down here. Now, if you're new to options, watch this. If you wanted to buy, Wiz, I'm going to buy 100 shares of Palantir, right? Why would you do that? Only a clown would buy shares of a stock. Why? Why you call me a clown, Wiz? I only buy stock. Watch. Would you rather spend 12,000, let me round up, 13 grand. Remember that number, 13. Okay, 13,000. Okay, 13 grand to buy 100 shares. Do you know, even if you're brand new to options, one options contract equals 100 shares of stock. You get to control 100 shares of Palantir for a period of time that I'm going to show you. 13 grand versus, here we go. I'm going to hop in my time machine. Calls are on the left, puts are on the right. I'm going to fly in my time machine all the way out to December of 2028. Remember, folks, the current average holding time most people are holding a stock for is under a year. This is not our father and mother stock market where they bought shares of GM, they came in the mail, and they're in a shoebox in the closet. It's over with, right? So I'm going to go out, though, as far in time as I can to December of 2028. Okay? Now, if you're new to trading options, I'm going to be a little quick here. The closing price was 130 bucks. This in the middle, look at this, 919 days into the future, we can be bullish on Palantir. There's the 130 strike. That's currently the stock price. Okay. You've probably heard, if you're new to options, hey, if I buy a call option, I'm bullish. If I buy a call option, I think it's going to go up. Great. So we could buy one option contract, which equals 100 shares of stock, out to D's 28 at 130 bucks. How much is that, Wiz? $5,200. How much was the 100 shares of Palantir? Yeah, you heard me. $13,000. Would you rather do that or that? I'm not done yet. If buying a call option is bullish, I think it's going to go up. Somebody has to sell you that call option, right? Somebody's like, man, you're an idiot. Palantir's going down. I will sell you that call option. Okay. Buying a call option bullish, selling it bearish. Now let's go over to the puts. If you're new to options, you've probably heard at a cocktail party, somebody said, oh, I think the market's going to go down. I'm going to buy some puts. Oh, okay. So if you're new to options, you probably know that buying a put is bearish. You think something's going to go down. Yeah. Well, guess what? Somebody's on the other side of that trade too. They have to sell you that put. They do not think the market is going to go down. They're a put seller. So a put seller is bullish, right? A put seller is an insurance company. I don't think you're going to crash your car looking at our modeling, but you're going to pay me, right? So why don't we do this? Why don't we sell one, same expiration, December of 2028, one, same strike, 130, put. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen, I have just created a position called synthetic stock. You see that line? That's if you bought 100 shares. You see that one? That's the options trade. Ladies and gentlemen, how much is this trade? $1,300. Would you rather spend $13,000 to buy 100 shares of Palantir or 1,300? This is the point in the brief where people who are new to Top Gun options and just trade stocks are like, what just happened? Right? Ain't no trick, ain't no nothing. Let's look at the risk though. You ready? I'm not done. How much could you potentially lose in this trade? Well, Wiz, it's almost like you bought the shares of the precisely. If you buy 100 shares of Palantir, what's your max loss if it goes to zero? 13 grand. If you do this trade, this tactic, which is called, you ready? Synthetic stock, what's your max potential loss? A little north of that because it's an option, the put sell. But here, I'm not going to do this because, man, I do not go flying without an ejection seat. So, what's a disaster? Right? If the market keeps imploding and it goes down 20%, what does CNBC say? As of this morning, the S&P 500 is down 20%. It's in a bear market. Or a stock, right? Breaking news, Peloton is down 20% as of today. Peloton is in a, say it with me, bear market. So I'm a political science major from South Jersey. I like easy math. Why don't we buy what I call a disaster put or a protective put, 20% under the stock? Watch this. What's that? 13 and 13 is 26 minus what's that? 104, 105. I'm going to buy one, D's 28, 105. Look at that. What? Now what happened? Now, obviously, I'm buying some protection here, so the price of the trade went up. Still, $9,000 less, right? This trade cost 3,800 bucks. What did I do to the max potential loss? 6 grand. Would you rather be on the hook for 13 or would you rather be on the hook for 6,300 bucks? If between now and December of 2028 Palantir goes to zero, shareholders lose all of it, you'd lose 6 grand. I'm not done yet, but let me talk about something real quick. Because some of you who are new to options are like, what is this sorcery? This is awesome. It is. Now, you use the term synthetic stock, Wiz. What does that mean? I don't own these 100 shares. I own an options contract. I don't get two things with synthetic stock, and neither of them do I care about with Palantir. The first thing you don't get is a dividend. Palantir these names ain't producing a dividend. So look, you see right there? Stock does not pay a dividend. So with synthetic stock, you don't get a dividend. But what else do you not get? You're not a shareholder. You don't own 100 shares. So guess what? When you get a ballot in the mail as a shareholder, like vote for our new board, those always went in the recycling. Who cares? So the two things you don't get with synthetic stock, a dividend and a vote, doesn't matter. Who cares about both of those things? I am saving you $9,000 on Palantir to be long 100 shares. I'm not finished. I'm cheap, right? I'm going to bring up the chart in the background. Let me bring up like a 3-month chart or something. 3-month. Okay. Why did I do that? Because look at the range we're trading in. I can have somebody pay off this trade over time. What are you talking about, Wiz? I can sell A front month. What's a front month? What's Friday? The 12th. I'm going to look at this, folks. I'm going to sell a Friday call against this position. Let's go closer to at the money. Let's sell a 132 call. What did I just do? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing in $162. Look at what just happened. The price of the trade went down. I could let's go. Looks like it in aftermarket it's actually down below one. I'm going to sell a 130 call tomorrow. I just brought in 253 bucks, lowering the cost of the trade. Ladies and gentlemen, every week I can sell calls against this position and bring in money. So I can make money selling some front month short calls against it. And I can also bring in, or hopefully, not hopefully, the stock's going to recover and start heading up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is insane. Let's say Palantir just hangs out and channels sideways for the next couple of months. I'm doing this every week, right? Let's just say you do this for a year, right? 52 weeks times 252 bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, if Palantir, if all you do, yes, this is recorded, if all you do is sell calls against this position, you will bring in 13. Wow, that's weird. That's like almost 100 shares of the stock. Ladies and gentlemen, I will show you options tactics where I'll have other people pay the damn position off. Isn't this awesome? Just by selling calls against your position, this trade will be paid off in 3-4 months. Do you understand this? Right? Edward, so this is not a covered call. I'm glad you asked that question. I don't own this 100 shares of stock. So I have to manage this short call this week. If it stays below 130, great. If it gets off the mat here and starts rallying again, I need to roll that call up or close it, right? I have a Whizism. When something is on a tear, either join it or get out of the way. So when Palantir has those type of moves, I sit on my hands. I don't sell a call. I put my boots on the desk, smoke my cigar, and go, I love making money, right? I'll sell calls when it's doing stuff like little level, little climb, going down. But when it's ripping, get out of the way, man, because you do not own those shares. That's a great question. I will teach you that in Options Weapons School, right? We have an entire session dedicated to the tactic that I just covered. It's called Options Weapons School. Let me show you the member area real quick. This is where you'd go underneath our replays up here. Down here is called Options Weapons School. That tactic is called synthetic stock, right? This session, I think it's session 6. I covered that in what, about 15 minutes? Where is it? Session, there you go. Let me click pause. Right here, folks. Session 6, synthetic stock. This is about an hour to an hour and a half instead of about 20 minutes. But I'm glad you kind of followed that, Edward, because that's awesome. It shows you kind of, you're following me along. That's pretty cool. But does everybody else understand that? Any questions about this trade? I love this trade. I saved you $10,000, $9,000, folks. And I'm selling calls against it to bring in money. Let me grab a screenshot of this because I can maybe post this on the replay page or send it out in an email. Or you know what? I'm not. I'm going to post it on the member page. You need to join tonight. So any questions on this tactic? If you're sitting here going, why'd you call it a tactic? Because it's not an option strategy. A strategy is high level. Managing risk, saving for college, buying a boat in 6 months. Managing, a tactic, synthetic stock, a calendar spread, a bull put spread, supports a strategy. Don't ever call them option strategies, folks. It's a ridiculous statement. Okay. So that was Palantir, folks. It is a gift. Look at this. Look at this rip. How? Look at that rip, ladies and gentlemen. That is obscene. And it's testing a key support level right down there. 130. Looks to be some solid support, folks. Okay. Or we just implode and go downhill. If we do, I add to the positions. I tell TGO, this is why, well, men lie. Trade. I took this screenshot yesterday in our live trade brief. Wait, where is it? Look at this yesterday, man. Out of my double vertical for 7,200 bucks. Very nice call, Whiz. In yesterday's brief, I did it as the market was imploding. I did a bearish double vertical on the S&P 500. I did 6,500 bucks. I love when my members make more than me. And then this guy, he's a fellow veteran. He's a retired colonel, Marine. Thanks, Whiz. We crushed it. Half to no fallen heroes. A lot of our TGO members, man, when they're crushing it, they go and make a nice donation to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation so we can heal more of our heroes at home. So even if we start imploding deeper, folks, we can make money as things go down. I closed a bear call spread on Amazon yesterday that printed money as Amazon went down. So as an options trader, folks, I can make money up, down, or sideways. I just don't, it just doesn't, I need direction, right? So, RR, how are the E for entries on the Palantir chart marked or created? Oh, these are earnings, right? It's under display or something like that. Studies. Yeah, I put earnings up because I want to see where the earnings are. I forget where you're events. There you go. Dividends and earnings right there. So those are all the previous earnings. Absolutely. Okay. Another one I'm looking at, let me cover real quick, and then maybe I'll talk about the S&P 500 is Broadcom. Man, it got hammered. We got into Broadcom back in March when I did the last, look at this. The last solo AI time I opened up memberships was right here. We got into Broadcom at 300. It went up to 500 bucks, man. Now it's filled the gap and it's fading a little bit. It's time to re-enter Broadcom, folks. So I will cover this in our next solo AI brief, which is every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, okay? I want to talk about the S&P 500 though, but let me give you because I promised to keep you on time. Let me tell you about Solo AI so you can join. And if you want to hang out, I want to show you a trade that I would do tomorrow morning at the open, folks. I call them bullish on America trades, okay? For a couple grand today, you could potentially make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, yeah, let me rip on this and then I'm going to show you bullish on America trade. Folks, I already talked about the math. The math is obscene. Look at the CapEx being deployed into these names. And even if the dot-com bubble analogies I think are ridiculous, there's no such thing as the past. It doesn't exist. Do you not can you visit 2000? The past is nothing but neurons in your brain firing, man. Be present. Live in the future moment. This math is obscene, right? But even if there's a pop, Whiz, the AI bubble popped. Amazon ain't going out of business, baby. So even if there's a pop, the strong will survive. Do you not understand that? Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, the chips, folks. So there might be, they if there's a pop, of course they're going to pull back, folks. But you buy them on the pullback. That's what I was going to say. TGO members know to always have 25 to 50% left in cash. Why? So you can walk in during moments like this. I'm buying a ton of stuff tomorrow, folks. Why? Because I have cash ready for these moments. I call Amazon the Death Star, folks, because it is a self-funding juggernaut. Look down here, man. It's retail, Amazon Prime. It's got Amazon Pharma, healthcare, logistics, advertising. Its aviation and ground division is bigger than FedEx and UPS. AWS, folks, Amazon Web Services, folks, look at the bottom. All the money they bring in, they're paying for all their capex. So some of these other make-believe companies with their vaporware, I'd be a little worried about them, but Amazon is our Death Star because it pays for everything that it's doing, right? I mean, geez, Christine, 107 grand trading Amazon. Thanks, Whiz, for all your expertise and guidance, doing day trades and short calls to protect my Amazon profits, learning from the best. And in November, she made me look like I was brand new. In 3 days, I made 90 grand on short calls against her 30 contracts utilizing Wiz's guidance. I love this stuff, man. Absolutely love when my members crush it. So these are the 10 names we're targeting across the value chain and why. And then at the bottom, I told you about my lottery ticket trade, NNE. I'll show you all of this stuff, right? Every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we do solo AI brief. Wiz, I can't make it. Don't worry about it. You're going to get access to an app. You're going to get an instant alert on your app whenever I place a trade, open a trade, close a trade, and you can watch the replay, right? So live trade brief, the trade alerts on the app, 3 skill-based manuals when you join, and access to our online ready room, which I'll show you in a second here, where you can interact with me and your fellow traders. Tonight, folks, I'm going to give you 497 bucks worth of stuff. Options Weapons School. If you do a monthly membership, you don't get access to this. You're not paying for it. It's only $197 a month, folks. Options Weapons School. The annual is $1997 for a year. You save, what is that? You save a lot of money, and I will give you this Options Weapons School. That synthetic stock little brief I just gave you. That's session 6. Hour and a half. Each one of these sessions are about an hour and a half. And look, I don't even start talking about options until session 2. My first session is talking about our trade planning process, investing basics, and where I gather my intelligence. And then we take what I call a building block approach, man. I didn't show up at Pensacola Naval Air Station and they said, hey, here's an F-18. Nope, go sit in a classroom. That's a cloud. That's an engine. This is aerodynamics. And then we took a building block approach. Okay, so tonight, if you do an annual membership, you will get access to Options Weapons School. It's 497 bucks that I'm throwing at you, man. Right there. $497 value included with full throttle. I'm not going to read more of this stuff, but these are great results. This guy recently joined Lifetime. He took his account from 110 to 225, mostly from Amazon. You're welcome. I mean, look at this. You're welcome, Wiz. Great work you are doing. I'm up 3,600 bucks on JP Morgan, 26 SIBO, down 1,800 on Amazon, up 27 grand using synthetic stocks. 31,000 bucks I would have never done without your teaching. This is what you're going to find here, folks, man. Trading's a form of combat, man. I structure some cool tactics where people are like, I would not have made that 31,400 bucks if I had not learned this stuff from you. That makes my heart smile. I'm not going to read that eye chart. I just proved to you why trading options is better than trading stocks. It's stupid. So what you're going to get with Solo AI when you join tonight, training, Options Weapons School if you do the annual. I'm going to teach you my trade planning process. You're going to see that in the report as well. And then access to the live trade brief every Monday morning at 10 a.m. A lot of people join Solo AI because it's Monday morning, 10 a.m. And I kind of give here's what's going to happen this week type of thing. More proof, whatever. I'm not going to do that. So here's your time because I want to keep you on time right at 8 o'clock. $197 a month. Let me go give you the link to do this. Like I said, Options Weapons School isn't included because it isn't included. You're not paying for it. So, and it's on the same as the replay page. Obviously, after this renders sometime tonight, I will post the replay on the replay page here, but here's right underneath the replay is where you can go get your membership, okay? And there's the flash and arrow right there, folks. If you do the annual, you will get access to Options Weapons School, okay? And it's a hell of a lot cheaper to do the annual. But if you're sitting here like, man, this guy's good, but I need to keep kicking the tires, then do the monthly, 197 a month. I don't drink anymore. Thank you, psychedelic assisted therapy. But I'd say that was an old Whiz crappy bottle of wine. Okay. So there's the monthly and then there's the annual, right? You're saving a ton of money. You get the options weapons school included. I mean, this is a no-brainer. And folks, options weapons school is the fastest way to start trading options while targeting the most explosive sector in history. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this pullback is a gift. It is an absolute gift, ladies and gentlemen. These names are on a fire sale. I think we're going to head even lower, which is great. I have some bearish positions on. Isn't that awesome? Can you wake up tomorrow morning and look at the futures and go, this is awesome? Or are you like, oh my God, when's the bleeding going to stop? If that's you, I feel bad for you, but that's your fault. You are the pilot in command of your portfolio. If you don't know how to make money as the market's going down, that's on you. I am only gonna, because we got crowded in March. This isn't going to be a ton of unwashed masses, folks. This is not a mass market product. We're keeping it a nice tight knit squadron. So I'm going to take 25, and that's it. Okay, 25 and that's it. Covered. You have to own the actual NTFS. I don't even know what those things are. Those like retirements or something like that. If that's the case, Brian, then yeah, you have to do a covered. Oh, Canadian. Seriously? Can't you guys open a brokerage account with somebody else? That's like federal law. Man, you guys, you royal subjects need to fight. That's I've never heard that. Uh, she asked a specific question. What's that mean? In TSA, I don't know who she is. I don't get that. She, the SpaceX IPO, I am staying as far away from that as humanly possible. I would buy SpaceX with both hands after it implodes. The dust will settle. People are going to get wiped out. It's the largest transfer of wealth in like human history. The retail traders that get involved, some might do well. Folks, remember this. For every buyer, there's a seller, right? For every seller, there's a buyer. So I've been offered the SpaceX. I said no, 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 no. I don't gamble. I don't do the feeding frenzies. I don't. I would wait. Just wait. You will get your opportunity. I guarantee it. Look at some of the names that have IPO'd and ripped, imploded, and then after the dust settled, you can get in and rip. So I probably it's on my AI board. I will probably add it to the model portfolio and take one of the maybe power names out or something like that. But man, be careful. Well, Daniel, that's exactly right. Yes, here's the link to join right here. Right there. So Daniel nailed it. Folks, when you look at the math, I did this for AI members last week. I said, look at the math of Amazon. Look at how much money Amazon makes in revenue. Look at SpaceX. If you applied the SpaceX math to Amazon, Amazon's a $2,000 stock. It's a 240 or whatever. Folks, math matters eventually in markets, right? There's another wisdom I'm going to teach you. The market only cares when it cares. So right now it's gambling, it's crazy. The math will eventually matter. You can't keep going on hopium, right? So I will jump into SpaceX down the road. I believe in Elon Musk. I believe in all that stuff. But man, I stay away from that, right? Exactly, Brandon. That's what I would do, right? That's exactly right. Amazon should be a 5 trillion. It will be, right? Uh, People still don't think of Amazon as a tech company, right? It's hey man, it just delivered my shoes that I ordered, or I see a blue Amazon truck. Folks, AWS, Amazon Web Services, is Microsoft. What? So that's why I love Amazon. It just kind of hovers in the background. Amazon is a gift down here during this pullback. And man, I would buy it with both hands. This right here, this 235 was resistance, 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 chop, and we're hanging. I mean, there's the 200-day moving average down there at 230 or something like that. If we hit this is what I'm waiting to potentially buy more Amazon is this. If we hit this 230, that 200-day moving average, buy it with both hands. Period. Sell the wife and kids, mortgage the house, buy Amazon with both hands. It's going to rip very soon. And like I said, it's self-funding. And it's just, I call it the Death Star. It's the stock called the Death Star. Remember, folks, these moving averages, the 20, the 50, and the 200, they're magnets. Look at them. They get the stock either gets pulled up to one or down to one. It's going to go hit the 200, and then I would buy it with both hands. Does that make sense? Give me a vertical head nod. There you go. Exactly, Brandon. Dave, as a newbie, I'm restricted on how I can trade in Fidelity account. It's still good for me. I'm a Viper guy, but exactly. Dave, welcome. Um, well, if you're restricted on Fidelity, just there's an application or you call the trading desk and is it because of the account or your options level? If it's your options level, open an E-Trade account. Go Interactive Brokers, Thinkorswim. Go open a new account at a broker somewhere, and I'm not going to tell you this, fellow fighter pilot, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Whenever you open a new account for the purpose of trading options, um, and they say, how experienced are you? Man, I've been trading options well, I've personally been trading options for over 30 years. If um, let's just say, I tell them I've been, and I have. So if it's a account or approval issue, you can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm taking options. I need level three." But if it's like a retirement account or something like that, there are tactics you can do in that. It depends. Uh, so, Eileen, please answer. I'm on you. Is it better to buy SPY with me living in Canada? SPX is beneficial for U.S. taxes only. Uh, So, link to join. You got it. 1 second, right here. Just scroll down. Make sure you do the annual, folks. You get Options Weapon School. It's 497 bucks tonight, right there. So I can't answer your tax question, but I love the way you said that. 100% in the United States. I get better tax treatment trading SPX over SPY. If that's not the case in Amazon, in Canada, um, I still prefer SPX. Not just, let's take the tax issue out of it, Eileen. It settles in cash. You want to trade something that settles in cash. Why? Because if you have a trade go against you in SPY, it will settle in shares. You could wake up one morning short, 1,000 shares of SPY or long 1,000 shares of SPY. So, yeah, John, this is news to me. I didn't know they could. It was a Canadian issue, SPY versus SPX. I get the tax issue, Eileen. If it is an SPY SPX thing based on taxes, there's your answer. But no, 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 no. SPY, Eileen, settles in shares, which could be dangerous, right? Does that make sense? SPX settles in cash. That's why what a lot of my S&P 500 trades are set it and forget it. Like, you know what? If this goes against me, it settles in cash. Those are the two big reasons to trade SPX over SPY. Settles in cash and the tax. But if the tax ain't good for you, then I get it. Okay. Man, I went way too late. Do you guys want me to rip through an S&P 500 trade? I hate throwing trades over my shoulder, but the bullish on America trade is a steal right now. If you don't, all right, I'll do it. I'm going to be quick, not going to be rude. I teach better than this, but I promised on the way out the door I'd do it. All right, let's do it. This is going to be quick. How many of you would, I got to relog in here. How many of you would risk a couple grand today to potentially make a couple hundred grand in the future? I mean, the answer is clear. Obviously, all of us would. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and cook. So SPX, Whiz, and in the S&P 500 options, look how far into the future we can go. I'm going to hop in my time machine and go all the way out to look, oh, for the love of God, December of 2031. Let me give you the Whiz predictions here. This is in one of my trade reports. You ready? Right. Where is it? Ladies and gentlemen, here's where I think the S&P is going to be in 5 years. With my uber bullish case, base case, average good S&P, 16 grand. What if we just kind of suck for a little bit? Close to 13. My bearish case 5 years into the future is 8,800 bucks. I don't think that's happening. But there is my spaghetti chart, folks. 22, 16, 12. I can be wrong, but ladies and gentlemen, I just showed you the chart of the Federal Reserve printing money. Do you not know who the new Federal Reserve chief is? His name's Kevin Warsh. He's a Trump sycophant who wants to do what? Cut rates. What does he also want to do? Not let the market implode. I condemn Ben Bernanke when he did it. I condemn Jerome Powell when he did it. And I'll condemn this guy when he does it. They're going to jump in to save capitalism. The folks with the houses in the Hamptons and in Washington, D.C. can't have an imploding market. I don't agree with it, but let's just use that as my commit criteria. Here's what I'm going to do. And you can see when I scroll down, these are all my existing positions. What did I just say? 22 grand potentially in 5 years of the S&P 500? Why don't we look at something like that? We could buy an 18,000 call. How much is that, Wiz? 5,600 bucks. All right, well, I'm not done yet. Why don't we sell the 20,000 call against it? Okay, that caps our profits. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This trade, you're risking, you're coming out of pocket 2,800 bucks. These are retirement account trades. You ready? Watch this. Would you come out of pocket 2,800 bucks tomorrow morning to potentially make, you ready? 3, 2, 1, $200,000. Now I'm going to be quiet for a second because I want to pause for effect. How many of you would risk 2,800 bucks? And folks, you don't have to hold this all the way to expiration. What if, Wiz, it only doubled to, look down here, folks. What if the S&P, let's round up. We're at 7,500 right now. What if we went to 15 grand on the S&P 500? It doubles in the next 5 years. 15 grand would give you $62,000 in profit. Folks, this is what I ran ahead to help build a hedge fund. This is what the smart money does, guys. Look at the options activity down in these strikes, ladies and gentlemen. These are getting crowded. Why? Because people know once we get Epic Fury out of the way, we're going to rip. Ladies and gentlemen, risking 2,800 bucks to make $200,000. Now, let's play with this. Well, Wiz, I have $100,000 in my portfolio. I'd like to devote 25 grand to a bullish on America trade. Well, let's look at that. How many contracts could you do? 9. 9 contracts, you're spending $25,000. You ready for this, folks? $1.8 million. Ignore the probabilities, folks. Go read well, you're not a member of that service. I have a bullish on America trade report that is 10 pages about all of this stuff. The bullish, wait, I'll show it to you. Right here, folks. Look at that. Friday's route was a gift. Buy the dip. Here's the bullish case. Why the dip is the buy. Here's the bearish case. I'm a flight instructor. I'm a fighter pilot. What are the enemies? Warsh's first FOMC has to hike rate. I go into the bullish case, the bearish case, and then both of these trades. I'll show you another one real quick. Look at this, folks. The current positions I have, the most I can lose is $3,000. If I'm right, I make $300,000. Isn't this freaking fantastic? Let me show you just one more playing with these down here. I have a 50. I think we looked at this in today's brief. How about a 15 grand call? Whiz, I think in 5 years we're definitely going to double in the S&P 500. Well, that's about $11,700 call option, man. Why is divorce expensive? It's worth it. Why don't we sell that 20 against it? What does that do? Oh, that's 11 grand. Oh, wait, sorry. Buy, sell. That's wrong. 8 or 9 grand. That trade risks $9,000 to potentially make $500,000. Let me show you something, man. I'm going to age myself real quick. I started doing this at Key West Naval Air Station in 1991 as a young ensign. Why do you bring that up? Because let me show you, what do markets tend to do over time? Let me just show you. Up and to the right. There's Key West Naval Air Station. Whiz as a young 22, 21-year-old kid. .com boom, buy it. Global financial crisis, buy it. Fed jumps in to save capitalism. We never looked back. So these bullish on America trades, it might not be a straight line for the next 5 years. I guarantee it might not be. I guarantee you it won't be a straight line. Democrats win the midterms. Trump's getting impeached. If they win the Senate, he's going to be convicted. The market is going to, it'll be a shit show, folks. I guarantee you. So it ain't going to be a straight line, but guess what? Over time, ladies and gentlemen, markets move up and to the right. It's a thing. So again, you could just go along your profit and loss diagram here and go, wow, I've been getting in and out of these bullish on America trades. I put one on during the tariff bottom. Where is that? The tariff bottom last year. I put one on like 5 years out into the future right here, April 27th, my wife's birthday. I remember it. I got out before Epic Fury for 20 grand profit in, what was that, 10 months? And I reloaded them. I just showed you my current positions. So you don't have to hold these forever, folks, but these are retirement. I know we're talking about AI tonight, but I wanted to give you even more value. These are retirement account trades, man. We were in accelerated retirement brief at 10 a.m. this morning. I love when new people see these things like, wait a minute, what's the catch? And I love, I'm not going to go too much longer. I have a whole Dropbox folder of case studies from when people put in the chat box like, dude, my bullish on America trader just closed one of them for 300% profit, 50 grand type of thing. Buy the dip. Every one of these dips has been bought. Hell, even the Joe Biden bear market of 20. Do you remember this? Isn't this funny? There's from January of 2022 to October, the S&P 500 imploded 25%. Do you remember the media and everybody really pounding him about that? No, I don't. Remember when that happened? They wanted to crucify Donald Trump for trying to get fair trade. Oh my God, the markets. I'm like, we had a 10-month bear market. Oh yeah, but him. Okay. So it ain't going to be a straight line, but it will move up and to the right. Aren't these bullish on America trades absolutely fan-effing-tastic? Let me, I didn't want to do this tonight, but let me, there's my psychedelic report. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want access to this bullish on America report, how many pages is that? 11? It's our newest service here. It's called Tactical trade alerts. I'll give you that link. It's only 97 bucks. That's kind of our gateway drug here at Top Gun Options. Right here, tactical trade alert service is 97 bucks a month or 970 for a year. You get 2 months included. So if you want the AI report, you want I just gave you a little peek, my psychedelic sector report. Oh my God. If you're not into psychedelic names, you're an idiot. These are guaranteed pops. Compass, CMPS is absolutely insane. What's wrong? Order form keeps adding the 497 to the full package, giving, that's weird. You know what I'll do? Let me go remove that, or don't check that. If it's doing that, I'll fix that. That's weird. Don't if you do the annual 1997, I'll do it right now. I will add the options weapon school. If there's a little glitch on the on the order form, I'll fix that as soon as we get off this brief. My apologies. So just do the annual. Don't worry about the options weapon school. Does that make sense? I got you. Just do 1997. Don't click the upsell there. So folks, here's if you want to get access to all those trade alerts, psychedelics, AI, and the bullish on America, it's 97 bucks a month. Okay. So yeah, it shouldn't be adding like that. That's my bad. I'll go fix that as soon as I close this brief down. I will go fix that. But yeah, if you do the annual, oh, it adds it automatically. Ooh, that's not good. I will go. It's adding it. Where are you seeing that? Is anybody else having this issue? I don't want to jump through my rear end if it's not doing that. So when you go to check, you're not checking that and it's still adding that? That makes no sense. Let me do, you know what? I'll do it right now. Give me 1 second. Watch me cook here, man. I don't even have to text my techie. I'll do it right now. So it's not clear. Yeah, I'll do that right now, folks. Control Shift R. I'll remove that. So yeah, don't worry about that. Don't know what happened with that. Thought they tested that earlier today. We do a test sale on all this stuff, so I want to make sure that's not just you glitching here. You know, I'm not going to keep you here as I remove that. I'll remove that. If you click OWS, it adds the 497. Got it. So don't click it. So don't click that. That's an issue, and I'm going to remove it from the order page right now. Okay. All right. So, but I appreciate that heads up. If you want to do the tactical trade alerts and get access to all of those cool Gucci reports, that's our newest service. It's our kind of least expensive service right there. These are the 3 reports that I put out this week. The bullish on America one we just covered, the AI report we just talked about, and then the psychedelic sector. Man, this is awesome. Went to the White House a couple. These are the 4 names that I'm targeting in the psychedelic space with the trades that I'm doing. Okay, so if you're not ready for solo AI, it's 97 bucks a month, folks. That's a no-brainer. So. All right, so hey, my apologies. I'll go fix that order form, but just either buy the monthly or the annual. If you do the annual, I will auto add you into the options weapon school. I'll do that right now. All right, guys, I got to get going. I'm sorry I went way too long, but I wanted to give you that bullish on America trade, even though we were talking about AI. This is a gift. This is an absolute gift down here. All these pullbacks are gifts, man. All dips will be bought until further notice. And the dip that you shouldn't buy, we're going to know, right? We're 50 trillion in debt. The Fed's printing money out of thin air. The market just ain't believing it anymore. We're going to have some heads up. But like I said, let's end on this note. All these recent pullbacks are Trump induced. We did not need any of these. I personally believe Iran, nuke wep, all that stuff, not needed, but I want peace, man. My oldest son's on active duty in the Air Force. He's on deployment right now. I did my time. I did 15 years. I hate war, death, and destruction. I pray we resolve this epic fury stuff soon and there's peace on earth, man. War is the ultimate failure of the human condition. It's stupid. We're killing each other, essentially, man. God, we're all one family under God, and it's just dumb. That's why war should be, if it has to happen, should be overwhelmingly violent so it ends quickly, not this love tap stuff or proportional response. Finish the job, Mr. President, and bring our young men and women home soon. And when that happens, those bullish on America trades are going to be printing money. Okay? All right, guys. I'll get the replay posted here shortly. It'll be on the replay page. I'm going to go fix the checkout thing right now. It should be. Don't worry about it. Just ignore the options weapon school stuff, and I'll get this fixed here soon. All right, guys. Well, my phone buzzed a couple times, so at least somebody, you guys are joining. But I'll straighten out all this stuff because I know how to do this, and I'm not even gonna wake up my my techie. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. Whiz out, and welcome aboard to all of our new members. Okay, cheers. I'll see you guys next time.